What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Chillin' with Dylan podcast. You're chilling with your host Dylan today, and we have a very epically awesome guest, Mr. Gavin Shaw. Welcome, Gavin. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you for welcoming.
Yeah.
I appreciate I love your intro. It's so
Hey,
positive. I love it.
I remember I made the intro, I think very early on when I was making the episodes. I was like, oh, I need an intro of some sort, but like on the Chromebook I was using, I couldn't make an intro song or anything, so I just did that. And I think with this episode, I'll try to make a little beat to start the thing off
Nice.
and go into
Okay.
that. But yeah, we're chilling in Gavin's RV because the studio was occupied earlier for the first time ever. I went in there and some of the managers were about to have a meeting. So yeah, we're in a different studio
We're on
today.
my turf.
Yeah,
My turf.
Gavin's turf. Anything goes, man. So Gavin, you work here at the Ponderosa with us as well. So how did you end up out here, or why were you kind of drawn to this place out of every place you could have gone?
Well, I was a freshman in college. I was probably maybe October, November time, around that time into school, my first semester, and my mom was calling me almost every week, and I would talk to her and she'd always talk about this great place, the Ponderosa. I'm sure people know about it, by now, but it looked interesting to me and I got an interview for it. I just basically said, I'm a college student. I may go back to college, I may not. And I came here, I fell in love with it. I came here to also kind of support my mother in her recovery as well. So I think that's something that kind of like is something good. It's a good reason to come here compared to others. So, and I want a break. Cities
Yeah.
are very depressing, and this place is very beautiful. There's nobody out here unless we get guests. And I love the nature. I love hiking with you. It's been
Yeah.
great. It's been a really great experience so far, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm glad I came here for sure.
I'm definitely glad you came out here too, dude. We've had some cool adventures since you got out here, man. I mean, what's been your favorite adventure you've been on since, or let's say like top three favorite
My top
adventures?
three favorite, like in Ponderosa, or just being here in this area in general.
Just like adventures you
Okay.
only went on because you were here. It doesn't have to be in Zion. Like,
I love spending that 4th of July with you guys because I
oh
feel like
yeah,
that was like the catalyst of me like actually meeting you all and hanging out because we hung out, saw the fireworks show, and I think that night we went and had that fire
yeah,
at
that
North
fire.
Fork
Oh
and
man, that got crazy
a
that
nice
night.
group of people. Yeah, a
Yeah.
nice, and it was one of my great memories being here because I really got to know everyone. I got to go from there. Another great memory, in general, it wouldn't be just one, but like as a whole was the Traders game.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was another great moment or moments for me because
yeah,
I got to really talk to people and engage and get to know everyone, and that was a great, like, I will always be thankful for Chance for giving me, you know
yeah,
what I mean, that chance to
yeah, yeah.
go into the game and like really make a name for myself, which I'm really appreciative of. And then when I went to Vegas the first time with
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
I'd say with you was that's one of my favorite memories is
Yeah,
just
that was a
just
crazy time out
yeah,
there.
that was a great night. It was really fun. I really enjoyed the group we were with. Colt, amazing dude.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I miss that
I
guy, bro.
miss him so much.
I want to
Great
have
man.
him on here someday.
Yeah, soon. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
Yeah. So just for anybody listening, I just want to go back to the traders thing and kind of
Right.
explain that. So this traders game we were just talking about is basically this dude Chance. I guess he watched like a lot of Survivor and like shows like that when he was younger, and he wanted to do something like that here. So we basically split up into two teams. There was the Faithfuls and the Traders. And the Traders, nobody knew who they were and nobody knew who the Faithfuls were. The Faithfuls had to guess who the Traders were and get them out. And then I'm pretty sure the Traders kind of knew who the Faithfuls were because they know who the Traders are. And then, yeah, they were trying to eliminate all the faithfuls. It was like one of those reality TV shows like Survivor or I don't know, so whatever else is like that.
Among Us is
Among
another
Us, yeah,
one.
yeah. It
Among
was like,
Us would be a good one because you've got the aspect of you not knowing who is who, and you
yeah,
have to figure out, you know what I mean, and do that detective work almost.
yeah.
So
I really liked that game because, yeah, I feel like that's when everybody kind of started getting to know each other because you kind of had to talk to people that you maybe normally wouldn't
right.
have. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the summer as well.
It was just a great time. There's a lot of great people in that game that like I wouldn't have got to know unless it was for that game. I think
Yeah,
either that or I would have met them later on and I wouldn't have had the chance to grow as close as I did with
yeah,
them. You know what I mean? Just there's a lot of great people here that
yeah.
I wouldn't have got if not for that. So, and I definitely want to make sure I see those people again because it was not long enough, you know, because I came later in the year.
I feel like that's kind of one of the harder parts about working seasonal jobs is that, everybody eventually takes off. I mean, there's definitely the people that, like, I stayed here throughout the winter last year and stuff. But yeah, I feel like you do grow a lot in a lot of ways while you're doing something like this because you have to kind of learn how to say peace out, but also realize that it doesn't have to mean like
Exactly.
peace out forever. Because like before I started working stuff like this, I feel like when people would go off and do their own thing, I was like, well, I'm never gonna see them again. And I feel like that's kind of a limiting attitude to have about it because you totally can see them again as long as you put in the effort to be like, hey, I'm heading out this way. I could probably stop in your town for a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot while I've been here.
Yeah, and people definitely at the same time, like I feel like it goes both ways because people can grow apart, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I don't see that as a bad thing because people's opinions change, views,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But like, you know, I'm so grateful that like even if there's people I will not, there probably will be people here this summer that I will never ever see again. But I'm
yeah.
glad that I had that experience with them and those memories. You know what I
No,
mean? I'll
yeah.
forever be grateful for that. It just feels kind of surreal how great this summer was.
Yeah, it's kind of like completely different than quote unquote real life. Like, I mean, this is still real life, obviously, but it's so different than if you just spent another summer out in wherever you're from. It's just so different and and varied, and you just get to meet so many different types of people that I don't think you would meet in a place other than this.
Right.
It does kind of attract a certain vibe of people. So yeah, I know your mom works here too. I know you're probably like, oh, I don't even.
No, no, that's fine. I think my mom being here is an experience because I don't like during my childhood, there was a lot of time I was not with my mother. You know, I don't hold that against her. And the same with my dad. I was not with my dad a lot of my life. So I'm glad I get to come back here and have the time with her while I have it because there will be, you know, when I get older and I have my own family, I'm not going to be able to give her
Yeah,
that time
yeah, you're
because I'm
not
going
gonna
to
be
have my
able
own
to just
children.
move
Right.
across the country and go chill with
So
your mom.
I wanna give her that time now. Do I think she's a little headstrong sometimes, a little overbearing? Yes, but I love her very much. I feel like it's more of an entertainment show for the people though,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
don't
I
mind
I
it.
will say it's really funny like seeing y'all interact sometimes. It's I don't know. Not in a bad way, obviously. It's just I don't know.
That's how everyone is. Everyone thinks it's funny. So
It's just like wait, I feel like with people that you're that close with, like your own mom and stuff, like you're not as inhibited in like what you're gonna like say and stuff because you know her better than any of us do, and she knows you better than any of us do.
we're both like we both keep each other level headed almost to an extent where
Definitely.
I can tell her when she's not doing something smart, and she can tell me when I'm not doing something smart, even though I feel like we've both been really good this summer about that. You know what I mean? I think I'm very proud of myself this summer for being as good as I am and like paying attention to my mental health while I've been here and, you know,
Yeah.
not staying inside all day and like going hiking with you. It's been something I'm really like proud of myself in because most of the time when I was in college, that was very
Yeah.
common thing was me staying in my dorm room and working on homework or just like playing a game or watching
Yeah.
something.
And like I understand that too because I mean if you're in a college dorm, there's probably, you're probably in a city where there's not much hiking to do anyway.
Right. It's
If you're
just the
going
thing.
out, you're just spending money.
Exactly.
And then, with all the homework, you kind of have to do that. So, yeah, I'm glad that you get to be in a place where you don't really, you could go out for free around here,
Right.
or like you don't have homework. Like you work, get off, and then it's your day now.
Exactly. It's a great experience here. I've never been any place like Zion, I don't think. I've been close, I feel like especially during my childhood, being in Hawaii and everything, I have memories in the back of my head almost, and like same with Alabama and all that stuff, but it'll never be as beautiful as this
Yeah.
place in my opinion, because this place is just so vast and there's so many beautiful things here, especially like if you're listening, you've never been here, just like you have to come and see it. Even
Oh,
if it's
dude,
for a
yes.
couple of days, I understand like moving's hard and like traveling's hard, but it's worth it, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It really is worth it.
That's the thing too, is I feel like a big fear with people when you bring up like seasonal work and like doing stuff like this, they're afraid of the commitment to it, but you really don't have to have a commitment. Like you could
No,
go there, check it out for a week, and if you don't like it, go back home.
exactly.
And I think a lot of people think that every decision you make is final or something, but it's not. I mean, you could literally come out here for 3 days, do whatever you want, take advantage of the housing, and work a couple days for a couple dollars, and then just head out and never come back. I really do insist that everybody gets out of their hometown for a little bit and sees what else is out there.
There's a lot of beauty in this country. There really
Yeah,
is. In America, like I think talking to the people from Germany last night kind of put
yeah,
me in that in perspective too of just how vast America really is. And it's the same for other countries, of course. Like I definitely want to travel to other countries and just like see the world. I don't want to be that person that's in my 20s and stays in Ohio my entire life or
yeah,
stays here my entire life. So I definitely want to go somewhere,
yeah.
new.
Make some dad lore.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like travel really teaches you a lot about, kind of just being like a free spirit. I'm thinking about getting all of my belongings to fit in two backpacks and a duffel bag. And then at some point I want to have even less. And I feel like I would never even start thinking about anything like that if I was just staying back home in Michigan, because there's just no reason, you can have everything you want.
Right.
And then like through traveling as well, like I've learned, I think a lot of people's limiting factor too is money. But if you really look into it and really do your research, like you can pretty much travel for free or get paid to travel. Like we were talking about with the people from Germany in the hot tub last night, they spent, I don't know, at least probably a couple months saving up money just to come here for a weekend. And they have to pay for the travel, all the food, all the lodging, everything. Yet we all paid for our plane and train ticket
Right.
out here, and then we get paid to live here. We get our shift meals. We get paid to eat here. We get paid to do everything here and fully explore everything. So, like, to me, I think this is really like the way to travel. And, if people worry about money and stuff, I think you should just not even think about that. Like, when you're deciding on like where should I go, what should I do?
I
Like,
mean, money should never be like a first priority in life
no,
because it's just going to make you miserable. I feel like,
yeah,
your happiness should always be number one.
yeah,
And like, that's something like I used to worry about like last year and the year before. I would always be worried about money and like where I'm going to be next. Whereas now I'm like, I'm going to be somewhere.
yeah,
So, and I'm not worried about it. There's plenty of good you can do while traveling to like the Peace Corps is another thing
yeah,
a lot of people do and just travel around the world and help people, which is something I thought about right after high school. I was doing something like that, but it's a lot. You have to be a very strong person to do it at the same time.
yeah.
I feel like.
But that's the thing, is like there's a way for every type of person to travel.
Right.
Like, if you're one of those more extreme people that would enjoy the Peace Corps, you could do that. And then yeah, you're traveling, you're covered with everything. Or if you want to be more comfortable, like there's seasonal jobs where you can literally have like an entire apartment
Yeah.
that you might have to pay a little bit for. But yeah, I mean, any type of lifestyle you want to live while you're traveling, you can still maintain that. You just have to kind of put in the effort to actually look for those opportunities. Yeah, because before I ever even heard about like seasonal work being a thing, I was like that. I was like, dude, if I want to travel, like that's for a person like me that hasn't like, gone to college and started getting a job that pays $200,000 a year, like, I could never do that. But as soon as I found out about this kind of stuff, I was like, oh, it's game on, dude. So I know I keep going back to your mom, but I just think it's interesting. Like, what is the experience like working and living in a place with your mom? Is it like, does it ever feel like weird, or does it feel
I don't.
like it's just an interesting, unique thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird, in my opinion. A lot of people would be weirded out by their mom being in the same underneath the same roof, but at the end of the day, we also have our own rooms. Like if I was
Yeah.
sharing a room with my mother, that'd be one thing.
Yeah, it would be
But we're I
different
don't
if
know,
you
we're
were.
we're in our own spaces now, which is really nice. So it gives us that time away from each other. I think just the oddest part is working with her because that is definitely something we're both very different about. I feel like, and we
Yeah.
work two separate things. So I don't mind working with her. It's just a little interesting sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Do you ever feel, because I know some people would probably feel this way, but like, do you feel like you kind of, like, say you are working a shift with your mom, do you feel like you have to, or don't have to, but like, do you find yourself acting differently? Okay,
not at all.
yeah, because
No,
I feel like there's a lot of people that would feel like oh,
I'm
I'm working with my mom, I gotta
yeah.
act right?
I am myself with my mother, and I think she knows that I am like my true self around her
Yeah,
compared to whereas like it's kind of the opposite with my dad because my dad was a drill sergeant in the military, and so it's kind of like it's like two separate sides of a coin, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And I am a very more like secluded with my life with my dad, and I don't usually go and tell him a lot of things that I do in the sense that my mother wouldn't judge me because she's been through a lot of those same things, where my dad would. And like
yeah,
I think that I'm not saying that him saying those things is a bad thing and him
yeah, it's
getting on
just
to me is a bad thing at
different.
all because it's necessary sometimes. I think that when he does get on to me, especially when I was a teenager, it was very necessary. He does not have to worry about it near as much anymore. But
Yeah,
if that were the case here, I wouldn't be mad at him for that, but I can be a lot more free with my mother because she's gone through a lot of life experiences like I
she,
have. I
she
feel
gets it.
she's been through life,
Yeah,
and I respect her for that because she's a very strong woman because she's been through a
yeah.
lot of stuff. So
I think that's why it works for you guys, because you both understand, like,
yeah,
we're our own people. Because I definitely think there's, I don't know, I've met some people's moms, and if they were in the same situation where they were working together, oh, it'd be a mess.
it would be a bad
It'd
time.
be a horrible time. But
Yeah, a lot of moms are also like overbearing too. I've
yeah,
noticed. So and that would it wouldn't work with me. I would be the same way.
yeah.
I cannot say I wouldn't be. So
My mom has asked me a couple times if they're hiring out here, and sorry if you're listening, mom, but I've always just been like, nah, we're all filled up. Because I mean, like, I love my mom, but I just don't think I could. I think I'd go a little crazy. I don't know. I just feel like I'd have to
that
constantly.
or whenever you leave, if there's something that you know what I mean, if you were want to give her that opportunity, you
Yeah,
could like
like,
my mother, because my mother was it sounds like our mothers are very similar from what you
yeah,
talk.
definitely.
So I think it could be like a good thing for her eventually. Maybe whenever she wants or if it's like a good time for her. But
Yeah,
like my mother, it helped this place helped my mother a lot. It's helped my mother more than a lot of places have. That's why I'm very thankful for this place.
yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I love about this place in general.
it's healing.
It's healing. I mean, like, when I came here, I wasn't in the best spot in my life, and I kind of had, at the beginning of my time here, I had a lot of like, I was doing like a lot of stupid drugs and stuff, and like not really taking care of myself. And this place has been a place for me to fall down, and I have as much room as I need and time and space to just get back up again.
Right.
And like, I've had times where like, I've gotten in a little bit of trouble with Bree or whatever, but
But you've always gotten back up,
yeah,
whereas you're not staying down,
yeah,
whereas a
because
lot of people would have stood like stayed on the ground, you know?
yeah, because they don't make you feel like shit for making a mistake.
Right.
Obviously, if you do something that's a little, come on, dude, like you might get a little stern talking to, but
These people also care about you to an extent. There's a
yeah,
lot of people
yeah,
here that like I can tell care about each other here, which I love that. There's a great community here. Like Bree is definitely a person who cares at the end of the day.
yeah,
Yoka,
yeah, like
awesome dude. You can tell he cares, something's going on. It's just people support each other here, and that's what I love most about it.
yeah, and I love it because even when like the higher management like comes through, that doesn't come through very often. They'll actually go out of their way to like be like, oh, what's your name? How long have you been here? Try to get to meet you. And I've worked a lot of other places where it's like corporate, like the general manager or whatever comes in and
It's yeah, let me tell you from my experience, it is just measurable. Like, cause like when I worked at PetSmart, I got my cousin, quote unquote. She's not my cousin, but she's dating my cousin, so I call her my
okay, so
cousin, Ariana.
not by blood, but
Yeah, job at PetSmart, and come to find out that she couldn't get promoted to even like assistant manager because we were blood related, quote unquote.
oh,
Yeah, so
yeah, that's
she had a
ridiculous.
baby on the way and everything, and she couldn't
He
even.
needed that
She
money.
needed the promotion, and they wouldn't refuse to get because it's just corporate. Corporate will not allow it, and
Yeah,
it's just a lot of stupid things in the corporate world that just will never make sense to me,
yeah,
like it does compared to like jobs like these where they actually care about their employees. Where like if someone were to die here. You know what I mean? It would be important. Whereas someone dies at somewhere like a Walmart or a PetSmart, 2 weeks later, they're gonna find someone to replace.
and obviously places like this have their issues too, but it's also like when there's that like chill aspect, there's gonna be things that aren't as like strict and stuff, so things might not be 100% all the time. But honestly, I would take the little bit of bullshit over like just being super strict with the rules and stuff,
Right.
like
Exactly.
because yeah, I mean, I love it. It just feels like I'm more of a person here than a number. So I've worked so many jobs where it's just I look at my little ID card they give me and it says my name really small and then the employee number all
Yeah.
huge, and I'm like, that's what's more important to these people. But here is like it's all by name. Everybody knows you by name and like knows your face and stuff, and that's just really makes you feel
It
like
feels like a family.
yeah, it feels like you're part of a community rather than just working a job. Yeah.
It's a great feeling, honestly. It's a really great feeling knowing that we can support each other. But I would like to hear, in my opinion, like I wouldn't say because you love this seasonal job. Would you say is your favorite, or would you?
Like here
Yeah,
specifically.
or would you say there's a different seasonal job? Because like this is my first seasonal job. I've never worked any other seasonal job besides this, so I want to hear like your inputs on what you like, because you seem like someone who's very knowledgeable in traveling. So
I mean, kind of. Like I've only had three seasonal jobs. I've worked here, I worked in Yosemite, and then I worked at the lodge down in Zion. So two of my three seasonal
same
jobs have
here.
been in this area. And like if I'm talking area wise, like the environment, I really liked Yosemite because it was a little more, it wasn't just desert. And I love the desert and stuff, but I did enjoy like all the trees and there was a lot more water and the mountains were, I don't know, just super beautiful. So I think like aesthetically, I really enjoyed Yosemite a lot. And then for just like general like the work style and like the lifestyle I've enjoyed here the most because like we just said, just feels very comfortable, like I'm part of a family. But I gotta say also like working in Zion down at the lodge, I wasn't there very long, but it was like I felt like I made so many memories there super fast because, it was a little closer to cities, like St. George was a little closer
Right.
to there. So if you wanted to go out, like it was a little easier to do that. And I feel like it kind of attracted like a different group of people, like just party animals. So it got,
Okay.
it would get real crazy. Yeah, I'd have to say here is probably my favorite because you do get like those nights where it gets like real crazy and fun, but there's also a lot of days to catch up and rest and like check in with yourself.
Right.
So yeah, I think here has to be my favorite place I've done this at so far, just because it feels like there's a lot more balance and a lot more time for self-care. And but yeah, Yosemite I really loved for the views and everything. The lodge I loved for all the crazy happenings that would go on there. The NPS Rangers, like National Park Service, I mean they were pulling up in there all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and it was just wild, but here just feels like you got room to breathe, but there's still fun stuff going on. And yeah, so
Out
I
here is just nature, I feel like. It's
yeah,
very like empty and very secluded, which I love because it's just you and the world.
yeah,
It's not like you're surrounded by people, which is like not super bad in the lodge, but I can tell it's a lot more, people
yeah,
going in and out of that place
yeah.
compared to up here.
And
So,
and I mean the lodge down there, when I worked there, it was ran through Xanterra, and they are just they don't care. They don't care about anything. Like, the housing there was just like I couldn't complain because it was free and I had housing, but it was like not very well taken care of, and it's just a different kind of vibe, a little less well managed, but with that came all of the crazy fun because just nobody
exactly.
cared about anything. And I'm really excited to see what other kind of seasonal experiences.
I'm excited to meet up again after you go on all these adventures and I hear
Oh,
about them.
dude, yeah,
So, because I'm still 50-50 on if I want to be here over winter or not. Because, if I can do snow work here and work with River, because he seems like an awesome dude, you know
yeah,
what I mean, to learn. He's so young, but he's so knowledgeable. Like
yeah, for
he
sure.
seems like such a smart dude. Same with Braxton, they're both very smart. Like I feel like I could learn a lot from him. But at the same time, being here over the winter seems very depressing. Like it seems very beautiful, but it also seems very
Yeah,
depressing from what I've heard.
it's like
So,
extremely peaceful, but it's almost too peaceful because yeah, there's not that many people here. There's not much money to be made, and it can get, pretty cold, and just like the darker skies can be a little, gloomy. But my experience here last winter was it was kind of nice because like I had all these like really fun experiences and go 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 in the summer, and then when winter came I was able to kind of turn more inward and reflect on all that and be like, all right, what part of this summer do I want to like focus on and enhance for the next summer? You know what I'm saying? Like, what aspects of this do I want more of for the next busy season, and what parts do I want to kind of like get rid of? So, it's really cool because you have all this like time and space to like really go within and kind of build yourself up to be the person that you want to be for the next summer. And like, I feel like this summer I really was able to do that. Like, I wanted to be a little more social with people and a little more just say yes to everything. And I did that this summer. And I think being able to contemplate on that during those months where it was just completely dead and, it's just pretty much you, your thoughts, and the snow.
like taking care of your mind almost and like
Yeah.
checking in with your mind. It's like a very healthy thing, I feel like.
But it can get, kind of boring and depressing, like, because, you can't just sit there and contemplate on that kind of stuff 24/7. Like, you gotta still go out and
Right.
have some fun.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad during the winter here. I just over exaggerate because winter depression gets bad for me. So
Yeah,
like last year, especially when I was in Cleveland, it was pretty bad because it was just me alone in a dorm and it would snow and the streets would melt and then they get frozen again and it'd just be ice. So
yeah,
walking in the city was not as easy
yeah,
unless you were like on the street, like on the sidewalk, you were gonna definitely bust your butt. So
yeah,
I did a couple times walking into the city and it's also just bitterly cold because I like Erie, the draft
yeah,
into the city makes it extremely cold. So I like stayed in most of the winter. But like especially compared to like down south too, like growing up as a kid, there is no snow down there for the most part.
Yeah.
Like if you get snow in Georgia, you're lucky. You know what I mean? There's a couple times I definitely remember like being down south and it snowed, but it would not be like Michigan, Ohio, or
Yeah.
Pennsylvania snow, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, at all. So
Yeah, I mean, it even snows a decent amount out here, which if you are here in the winter, dude, I don't know if you're into snowboarding or skiing, but
I've never been. So River wants
hey,
me to go with them.
yeah,
I have to take him up on that offer because
yeah.
snowboarding seems like such a fun thing to do. I've been like on the tubes before.
Oh
I
yeah.
used to go on the tube, like take the I don't even know what that's called, those escalator things
The
all the way to the top and
the
then
lifts.
yeah, the lift
Yeah.
all the way down and slide all the way down. That
Yeah.
was fun. I used to do that with my dad. I did that with him 1 year, but I've never been snowboarding. It seems like such a
Yeah.
cool thing to do, honestly.
I
So
mean,
I'm excited.
if you're here in the winter and you're hanging out with River and Braxton, you will be snowboarding at some point. And
Yeah.
Brian Head up there is just amazing, dude. I mean, it's before that, I had gone snowboarding when I was in Yosemite in the winter. The hotel we worked at kind of slowed down. And so there was a ski resort ran through the same company like 20 miles away. So we would all work there for the winter. And I mean, it was like a smaller resort, like it was family friendly, beginner hills. So, nothing too crazy. But I learned how to snowboard out there and immediately was like, this is awesome. And then when I went to Bryan Head, I was like, holy crap, these hills are, I mean, some of those runs, like I'd be going down them for what felt like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
they're huge.
yeah,
That's my one worry with snowboarding is how steep some of those hills are and me just
yeah,
tumbling down like a bowling ball and just keep
yeah,
rolling. So
like a tomahawk.
yeah, yep. So I'm excited though to experience all of it for sure.
I don't know, man. I think no matter where you end up, like it doesn't really matter the place or even like the people. It just depends on your attitude and what you're looking for. Because I feel like if you kind of know what you're looking for, you're gonna find it. And I personally believe you can learn to love anything. Like even if you get to a place and you're like, oh, this is not what I expected. I think you can train yourself to look for the positives wherever it is that you are.
Yeah, and like it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of people hate on Ohio like as a state, because a lot of
Yeah.
people make jokes about it, but I think it's honestly one of the most like beautiful states I've ever been to, like Cuyahoga, however that's pronounced.
I can't even
Ohioans are
tell
gonna be
you.
mad at me for that probably, but like I think it's a gorgeous state. It's a lot of flatlands, just a lot of land out there for you to do
Whatever.
whatever, you know
Yeah,
what I
ride
mean?
ride ATVs around, go hunting, go fishing, go.
Maybe I'm like biased because my girlfriend's there and I miss her very much. So, but I don't know. I think it's a beautiful state, and one day I do want to settle down there. But like, if not, the U.S. is a beautiful country, and I'll be happy wherever I go. I'll make the best of it for sure.
Exactly.
But Ohio is definitely up there in one of my states. I would like to just build a little house, have a chicken farm. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I haven't explored Ohio like a whole lot, but I've been out there a few times and it's like, yeah, I mean, just chill, laid back,
It's a
like
very relaxed state, I
yeah,
feel like. There's a lot of good people out there too.
yeah,
Like I haven't met a lot of people from Ohio. I just know like my girlfriend and her side of the family, but they're honestly really great people, really kind people, very understanding. That's what I love about her because she was raised by great parents, so she's just all around a
yeah.
good person. We're definitely me and my girlfriend are a lot different in a lot of ways, but I think like at the end of the day, I think that's what makes our relationship so great. Is I
No,
can
yeah.
learn from her and she can learn from me. But I'm very thankful she's in my life because I would be a very different person. I feel like if she wasn't.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I mean, I think it's like it's kind of necessary to be around people that are different than you because
exactly,
if I hung out with people that were exactly like me all the time, then I'm not gonna learn new perspectives on things or I could be totally wrong about something my whole life. And if I keep hanging out with people that think the same way as me, I'm just gonna continue to be wrong.
exactly.
And I think, every great like friendship or relationship I've been in has been with somebody that I'm like, dang, we're like complete opposite in so many ways, but like my last relationship, it was kind of interesting because I was I never really said what was on my mind and stuff. Like I'd kind of keep to myself and keep a little more quiet. And then she was like the opposite. Like if she was like pissed off about something, she made like everybody knew. And I obviously don't bring it to that point, but being with her, like I learned it's okay to just say how I feel. And then like I noticed that she kind of learned, sometimes you don't gotta always say it's on your mind. And so like I think we both walked
You've
away from
learned
that a little more balanced as
exactly.
people. And
The balance is a great thing. Like just communication in general is very important human characteristic I feel like you need is to communicate with people. And that's something like I've learned in my relationship is that communication is the most important thing out of anything else in a
yeah,
relationship is just talking to each other when you're upset.
none of us are telepathic. Maybe we are, but we just don't know it. Like
Exactly.
if I was telepathic, I'd probably be like, I don't know if I'm making this up in my head or if I'm actually telepathic. Yeah, you can't read people's minds. Like if you want things to work, you got to kind of talk about it. Cause yeah, like in my past relationships, I think that's always been kind of the thing that messed it up is one of us starts feeling a certain way and doesn't express that, and then it just kind of snowballs and turns into something bigger than it has to be.
Exactly.
But if you just say it right away, you can talk about it and get it over with, and come to a compromise. And yeah, it's very important.
Very, very important.
Very. But yeah, I know you've like people ask where you're from and you're just like all over the place. So like what was that like growing up and just kind of living in like a million different places?
It's good and bad. It comes with good and bad because the kids that grow up like playing sports for the same school their entire lives. And
Yeah.
like kinda I'm not saying I grew up with that dream, but it would have been nice for me to like been active in sports and stuff because like when I was moving around with my dad, he like I could tell he always wanted me to be that kid that played sports and played
Yeah.
football and did wrestling, but like I never wanted to be that kid that just did it somewhere and made friends and then just had to leave and
Yeah.
start with somewhere new and then it just ended up being something I don't because I don't want to go somewhere and fall in love with it and then go somewhere and it be ruined for me. And that was
Yeah.
always my main worry. It was an interesting life for sure. I'm forever grateful that I did it though, because it made me stronger, I feel like, in a lot of ways where like I can just go somewhere and be somewhere and I'm comfortable. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people are like afraid to kind of leave home,
Yeah, you
you
don't have
know?
the anxiety of
No,
leaving
no.
or, dropping everything and going somewhere
Not
else. Like,
not anymore, at least. When I was a child, I actually, like, hated the idea of, like, moving and stuff, like, I always hated that, and I just would be very negative about it, and as I've gotten older, I realized that that's something that I should cherish.
yeah, because
Um,
not a lot of people get to,
yeah,
you know,
because I remember whenever like that year of me living with my mother and then everything happening, me moving with my grandparents, living with my grandparents for a year, and then my dad came back from being deployed and we moved to Texas. I hated it.
yeah,
It was like I would wake up and like it's kind of weird because like I feel like I was manic almost. Like even as a kid, it's so weird to describe because I'd wake up like every morning, like having a breakdown and like being like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to school. Like I would walk to school crying, and kids from my class would be, like walk up to me like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Because like it's such a hard thing for a child to go through. I feel
yeah,
like going from like a traumatizing place to moving with your grandparents where you're finally comfortable, and then you're just somewhere random where you know nobody.
yeah.
But
I mean,
then
probably makes you feel kind of like alone,
yeah,
like,
and it did, and I didn't at that point, I was 10 years old, and I barely knew my dad, like, at all, but I moved to Texas, and I did that whole thing for a year, then I moved to Alabama, and I was in the 5th, 6th grade, I think, at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, 5th grade, and I just realized, like, I need to get over this fear, right? So, I started going to school and just becoming friends with everyone. And by that point, I don't know, I was that fat kid that just made jokes and made everyone laugh. So that's who I became. And I started to love the idea of like going to new places and just joking around. You know what I mean? And just being a goofball. And now that I look back on Texas, it's one of my most like favorite memories, being there. Like I may have
yeah,
hated at the time, but now that I look back at it, I cherish it so much because at the end of the day, I still had friends that cared about me there.
yeah.
I had a really great friend named Sean. He was also like another military kid. Shout out to him. He's in the army now. So
Shoot, man.
yeah, army dude. I'm happy for him though. Great dude. Like I made a lot of cool friends. Like in Alabama, I still have friends from there that I still know. One of them is now a rocket scientist, and
Oh
the
wow.
other is also in the army. So
So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, you got a lot of cool
I
connections
do.
just
It's an amazing experience. Like I will always forever be thankful for my dad for letting me move, even though I was miserable at the time. For when I was in Texas, it was just it was a great experience, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And then after Alabama, my dad had retired and we moved to Pennsylvania. And I started getting like an actual normal vibe about school. You know what I mean? Because we finally moved.
like you were kind of in one place for
Exactly.
a longer
Yep.
time.
I did my 3 years of high school in Pennsylvania up there. And then I got into like a sort of, it was just a situation with my dad and my stepmom. So I moved out, moved to Georgia and did my last year of high school in Georgia. So, but which was also great. I'm very thankful because I met, a bunch of cool high school friends in Pennsylvania that I still talk to every day. And now I have a handful of friends from Georgia that I talk to from high school. So
Yeah.
like
So
there's always take the good with the bad,
exactly.
regardless of the situation. I'm glad I've got to have the experience I've had. I think it's great to be able to move. That's why I always tell people it's worth it. Just go
Yeah.
out and explore and meet new people. Like I love the fact that I went to Cleveland and did that year in college, even though I didn't continue. I met a bunch of really cool people. Shout out Juan and Andrew.
Juan and Andrew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're both probably my two good buddies from college. One was older dude in his 30s. That was Andrew. He was in the Navy. Super wise dude, spiritual.
Yeah.
Like we took medieval philosophy together.
Oh, dude, what?
Yeah.
Bro, I
So he
swear.
got super philosophical. So just really great dude. And the other one, his name is Juan. He's an Indonesian dude. Is a international student from Indonesia. One of the kindest two people I've ever met. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like he'd give you the shirt off his back. You know what I mean? Just a lot of great people, honestly. Looking back on college, like I have a lot of regrets, but now like I don't regret it one bit
I
because I
mean,
met a lot of cool people there. Like my roommates is cool. I didn't get along with one, but I got along with the other, and one of them's super cool with me. I feel like it was an experience I wouldn't give for anything. So I know I'm kind of rambling about the
no, no,
same
no.
thing. So
I think it's really cool because like at least for me, like through traveling, I feel like it's been easier to kind of like find myself because when everything around you is constantly changing, you get to kind of pin down those things in you that are just always there and you can like really because like I feel like if you stay in one spot, like you don't really have a frame of reference, really. And it's like easy to kind of just like fall into the same habits and the same mindsets. But it's like every time I move somewhere, I'm like, oh, this is an opportunity to, start kind of different and like be kind of like I don't have any attachments at this new place I'm going to. So I can like, kind of just go there and be whoever I want.
exactly.
And I feel like through every time I travel, I kind of refine the person that I am.
You can learn a lot from other people, new people. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? If you were to stay with the same group of people your whole entire life, you're just going to stay the same person. But if you travel and you meet new people, you're literally like molding yourself, you know what I
yeah,
mean, into someone that you either don't want to be or someone you do want to be. You just have to make that work you know what I
yeah,
mean? My brother, like I haven't talked about my brothers and sisters, but I have a couple of brothers and sisters, and like one thing I love about all this is that we're all so different and so
yeah,
like in a lot of ways. So, like especially me and my brothers, because like it's so weird because I feel like I'm kind of like a mix between all of them.
yeah. You're like a mutt.
Yeah, between all three of them, like there's so many, in common things I have between all three of them. Even my oldest brother, who is going through a lot right now, like I still have a lot in common with him. I feel like, even though a lot of people say there's a lot of negative aspects to him, I still love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you still can see yourself in him.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and the same with my sister. My sister was probably like the biggest influence out of all of them. And I would say I'm a lot like my sister too. So, in the way that like I need to like be more respectable to people and like, take care of myself. So,
I feel like it's like every person you meet is almost like an aspect of yourself that it's like I don't know, I feel like when you learn about other people, you're also learning about yourself. Like, if you meet a really negative person and you just start like jiving with them and stuff, what does that say about you? Like you also have this negativity in you, and that's why you and this person get along, or the opposite, positive people. Like it's almost like I look at it like every person I meet is almost like a mirror. The parts that I see in them are parts of myself as well. Yeah, I think that's why I love traveling too, because you just get to see such a wide variety of people. You get to discover more parts of yourself, and with every person you meet, it's a chance to, oh, do I like this part of myself that comes out when I hang out with this person? Or and yeah, it's just like again, like if you stayed around the same people forever, it's like you're only gonna see a very limited version of yourself. Yeah, I think, for you, like moving around so much at such a young age, you were able to like really see a lot more aspects of yourself.
You
And
see a lot of crazy stuff.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot. You see a lot of crazy stuff. Like I'll forever like I remember like when we went to Vegas just recently, like walking down Fremont, I could literally like it felt like I was still 10 years old or like eight. I don't even I think I was younger than 10 at the time, honestly. I think it was like right as I was before I moved to Texas with my dad, we did like a whole summer where we just traveled. And I think that was that summer we went to the Grand Canyon and came to Vegas. So I was like 8 or 9 walking
yeah,
on Fremont.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I see all these kids and these children now, and I'm like, why are you up at like 2 a.m.,
yeah,
walking around Fremont and seeing all of these things you probably shouldn't be seeing. But now, like, as a kid, when I'm looking back on, I'm glad. I'm glad and I'm not glad that I took it in. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because it makes you realize a lot of things about the world, which a lot of people are, even at this age, our age now, they don't realize it,
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. I
So,
mean, it's like a double-edged sword being young and being exposed to things that is a little bit above your age level, I guess. Like going to Vegas 9 or 10 years old is probably, you see a lot that like you didn't even know was possible. You didn't even like, walking around seeing like
I didn't know that body part existed.
yeah, yeah, seriously, seriously. I mean, it's a double-edged sword though, because I feel like it also depends on, how you are before you experience that. Because some people like that could absolutely wreck them, just like worldview completely shattered. And then some people, I feel like it could be very freeing because you realize like, oh wow, like you can really just do whatever you want. I think it's like kids should be, exposed to things that are maybe a little above their maturity level, but there is a limit. There is a limit. Like you don't want to bring them to like a
Exactly.
Magic Mike show or
Yeah,
something,
like
but
Chippendales.
but
I completely understand, but I also think it's good to an extent because a lot of people, like especially when I was younger, like the stuff that I would see in my childhood, a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have seen, I realized, hey, that's not okay.
yeah,
I shouldn't be doing that. Whereas a lot of people have never grown up even seeing that sort of thing. So when they come across it, they end up doing it, and it becomes something
yeah,
that tears their life apart.
yeah,
So
or just takes them by surprise and freaks them out or something
exactly,
because they never even thought that something like that could be possible. But yeah, I mean, I feel like seeing things that maybe you shouldn't when you're younger. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because it could. Yeah, I feel like for example, for me, like I got in trouble with the cops when I was 16, and that's obviously something that a young person shouldn't experience. But if I didn't, I would still probably be doing
exactly.
bad stuff like that now. And then when it eventually crashes in my face, it would be a lot worse. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
It is. It's some bad things that happen are necessary for sure, and you have to like kind
Yeah,
of take it as a lesson to you.
yeah, definitely.
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's done something bad in their life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So you just got to take it as a lesson at the end of the day.
for
So
real, man. We're at about an hour now, man. So, is there anything else you want to drop on the world?
I just want to say thank you for everyone who's listening, and thank you to all my family. I want to thank everyone that has been really kind to me since I've been here. There's a lot of cool people that probably are listening to this that are no longer here. I miss you guys very, very much.
We miss you.
We miss you a lot. And I just want to thank you guys for listening to me ramble. It's been an amazing, amazing podcast.
Hell yeah, man. Dude. It's yeah, this has been a fun one, man. I always love it when it's like you just start talking and then look at the time and it's like, oh crap, like we're already
There.
have
But
a full
next time
episode.
you'll see me, I'll be a little less serious if we're in a group aspect.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, sweet. It has been a pleasure having you on, Gavin. I would love to do another one with you someday. Yeah.
so we'll have to get one before you leave here with a group of people.
Yeah,
Have
I
one
got
left in
the
the bag.
4 microphones, so we could get 2 more people on here and might get a little hectic, but
That's all right.
I
It's
mean,
necessary sometimes.
you gotta try
Spiking it
new
up.
things, yeah. But sweet, dude. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed meeting Gavin. This dude's the coolest mofo in the room. It's been an absolute pleasure, and yeah, until next time, I hope
Thank
you
you.
have a good time.
Have a good one.